including 2 points today. They have been mentioned to some extent, obviously, because the debate is rather slim, but my analysis is going to be new. The first one is going to be battered wives. How does it feel like, and why you can't judge it from the outside? Why it's like insanity, like moral breakdowns, and so on. Like when we have these situations, we just don't know how it is inside. My second point is going to be, although we absolutely agree with the first opposition that you have to look at it subjectively, what the woman saw in that respect, we're also going to prove why self-defense actually works even objectively. There is risk of life, and there is immediate risk of life. Not immediate, sorry, no alternative, because immediacy is just one example of an alternative. I'm going to get into it, don't worry. Okay, so I'm going to rebut a couple of things before I go into this. One, they say that it's not insanity if it's premeditated, because of two things. One, she can function in normal life, and two, the fact that she planned something means that she's not insane. One, we say, those women generally live in an extremely anxious, they are insane in the normal life as well. The fact that they feel anxiety, the fact that they don't feel a free person, the fact that they have no free choice and so on, are all indications of the fact that they are not mentally stable, and we do not accept that the fact that they can go to the shop doesn't mean that there's no mental instability. That's also true for most mental diseases. Second thing is that the fact that it is premeditated doesn't contradict the fact that it is based on false assumptions, but my first point is going to get into this very, very thoroughly. The second point is, well, first of all, the fact that she responded with force would make us assume whatever. There is medical examination if she's not under that condition that it doesn't work, and the fact that she suffers pain, first of all, is not our logic to excuse it, so she attacked something that we never said. Secondly, yes, I would say if someone is suffering from tremendous pain and he has absolutely no other way of stopping it, it is more legitimate to inflict pain upon others, at the very least. Okay, moving on to my content now, thank you. No. So, what happens to battered wife? Why is it like insanity? So, in some cases, it's not that you are born insane, but you undergo a process that takes away something that is fundamental to your humanity, your judgment and your understanding of what society means, the understanding of what other people mean and so on, and you are reverted to primal instincts. You cannot actually plan ahead. Like premeditated means that you might plan the actions, but not based on something that you consider to be logical. It's based on primal urges, on things that you have very little control over. So let's look at battered wives, and we'll show you why it's like child soldiers. It's like whenever you have situations of complete meltdown of moral standing. So you have absolutely no free choice or any way to exercise your own will without the supervision of someone else, without the punishment of someone else. You are subject to random rules that you do not understand. You are randomly punished. You are your will is subsidiary to the will of others. You do not consider yourself to be a free acting agent, and you are disconnected from the rest of the world. In child soldiers, it's very obvious when they've just taken them away. For battered wives, one of the main ways of abusing someone is just to disconnect them from their family. This is one of the main things that, and it was already mentioned, and I'm not going to take it. Okay, so it's not just an urge. It's not just an urge. The same way that you have the urge to beat someone, and you have an urge to revenge or whatever it is. It's not just urges. The whole area of life, that is the way that you perceive reality, the way that you perceive your relationships with people around you, the way that you perceive the use of violence, this entire thing has broken down. You do not understand it the same way that other people in society understand it. It is simply different. I'm sorry, not now. But I will take it at the end of the point if you want. Okay, so why do we excuse insanity, and why is it like that? Because an insane person has different reality that has different rules. He has no clear and consistent rules, and the actions are ruled by irrational anxieties, not just urges and feelings. He feels that if he doesn't do something, then something horrible is going to happen. It is irrational. Okay? So you have two reasons why we excuse it. First, because it can't be controlled. If it's based on an irrational decision, the fact that it's premeditated doesn't mean that it is controllable. The fact that they plan something doesn't mean that they, if they could have avoided or something like that, it doesn't mean that it's based on control. Secondly, it can't be understood from the outside. If I have a schizophrenic person stab someone, I just don't know what he was thinking about, and I can't know what he was thinking about. Choose one and I'll take it in a second. And thirdly, when you pass that moral judgment, if these rules are like that, and you pass a moral judgment, it is unjust to punish someone because of something you don't understand. Yes, yeah, sorry.
Okay, your entire analysis about crazy subjective predispositions also applies to hate crime. Does it mean the law should justify?
Yeah. If you can prove that someone who commits a hate crime has undergone the process of a complete breakdown of all social values, then yes, I would agree with that specific person, that sort of hate crime would be legitimized. Okay, or at least more legitimate than just killing someone. Okay, so the second point. So real self-defense. Self-defense has two requirements. One is that there are no alternatives. I can't get away without killing the other person. And secondly, that there is an actual threat of life. No alternative doesn't mean necessarily that it is immediate. If I'm stuck in a room for 8 hours and I have a gun and someone else has a gun and one of us is going to die, I can't shoot him. It doesn't matter the fact that I have a long period of time, it's not immediate. So let's look at the alternative. The police, the involvement of the police is actually more harmful in these cases. Most battered wives who are murdered after an outside force is involved, because the changing of the status quo, the changing of something that was comfortable for the battered husband is a change. He can't control the situation anymore, and he moves to murder, which means the alternative of involving someone else isn't really a viable option. The second option of running away isn't an invaluable option. A, because if she runs away and he finds her, it means that she risks death, and I don't think that we can put the burden of asking her to risk death. And secondly, there are people depending on her, and often children and so on, are a difficult thing to move. The alternative of actually getting away is extremely difficult and not actually a viable option. Secondly, the real threat of life. First of all, obviously in many cases you end up in murder. Okay, the fact that someone pulls a knife doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to stab me, but the fact that there is a very high probability that he's going to stab me is good enough for me to feel threatened. Okay, it's not just to feel threatened, but to be actual threat of life. The fact that 90% of battered wives are killed is a good enough objective reason to feel that. So, if... Okay.